Hi, I'm Douglas Carney. I'm the CEO of Odin. I've worked there now for the last 5 years since we started the business. But what I do is I lead our vision and technology team to be able to deliver product for our customers to help solve compliance, onboarding, as well as also job site access management and visibility for large-scale construction sites in the U.S. and other key markets. I'm here to pitch for this pitch competition for the Contech Alliance and safety and safety protocols for how my technology makes it easier for job sites to be safer. And we're at 101 Park, I believe. It's this beautiful establishment with the team here. My grandfather was actually injured on a construction site many years ago. My dad's a general contractor for 30 years. And getting injured for how injured he was, he actually ended up not being able to walk for the rest of his life. So what I thought was, when I was looking at the opportunities to get back into operating, so I had built a VC fund over the last decade, invested in thousands of companies, and I saw a huge market opportunity in the construction space because nobody in like 16, 17, 18 was really applying that much capital into the markets of construction tech. Prop tech, sure, but construction tech was not getting the love it needed, especially for how big of a market it is. So I decided to come back from spending my time in venture and jump back into operating, actually, to build a company around this. And the idea was around managing the workforce of a job site and making it so you have better visibility into them and who they are as a person and the risk associated with that worker. Because the way that historically risk is assigned on a job site is it's to the contractor level. It's whoever the contractor then hires afterwards. You don't really understand. But when you think about it, it's actually all the individuals that are coming to that site every day make up the risk of that job site, not necessarily who the contractor is. It doesn't really matter. It matters how well trained that person is, how many hours they spent there, how tired they are that day. That's what makes a job site riskier and makes it unsafe. And in the condition, my grandfather got injured. It was actually raining and it was an embankment. He fell down with a backhoe during a time he was working on a project with the Army. And the reason was because they should have stopped work before that because the rain was too bad. And that's what actually caused the injury. So I wanted to bring technology to the field to make it so that people's families can see their loved ones come back from the job site every day, because construction obviously is an inherently risky business. And I took going back into operating, leaving venture for a bit, and then building this company to be able to do that. The reason I left venture and put myself back in the hot seat is it hits differently than venture. So it's an interesting thing to say, but this is not my first startup. I've actually sold my first startup to Mark Cuban in 2015. I built a number of startups after that, and there's highs and lows per day that you experience at a startup, and the direct impact, you can see it in the actual results from those customers and people that you're servicing. Where in venture, you are one layer back. So you don't have highs and lows. You have an investment that hopefully works out over the course of 10 years, and you get that back to you as like a investor update that the company's doing well, right? So you're able to put a lot of impact into the world, which I really love about venture. So I can invest in 1,000 companies of people like myself that are driven founders that want to go out and solve a big problem, but I don't have to solve all those problems, but I can at least make that impact in the world. But for me, it doesn't hit the same because I don't have those ups and downs. So I wanted to come back and operate in something that I really knew and wanted to solve, and in a space where it wasn't particularly the sexiest thing to invest in at that moment. So that's why I came back into the space. As you do more startups, and you'll notice this if you build multiple startups, this is probably my 7th, I've sold 3. The magnitude of like how up and down you go, like once the first time you ever hit that high and the first time you ever hit that low, the next time you hit it, it's not as bad because you already know how bad that one was. But there's probably a bigger one that's coming in that wake. But if they're really small ones, then they stop bothering you on the day-to-day. But like the first time you're a founder and you get that first little success, which is great, or the really more so the first little loss, it's impactful. It puts you like into a depressed state and everything else. But once you know how that is going to be experienced, unless you've hit one that's like critically high or critically low, you're not really changing that much in your day-to-day. So you actually can make more clearer directions for the company and clearer decisions because of the fact you've already seen this experience before and you're not reacting at that moment, which I did in my earlier career when I'd have 1 million users on my platform and then my platform would crash the next day and I'd be in the lowest of lows kind of thing. I think fundamentally the way that Odin is shaping the labor force of construction is that we're giving them a voice and making it so that they are actually a part of the understanding of how a job site works. A lot of times it was just ignored and it was just, if the work got completed, that's all that they cared about, right? But in this case, you actually have understandings of who those individuals are, understanding of how risky or how the scenarios that they're getting themselves into and how we can put preventive training in place and how we can build that actually into a potential other tool after that, right? Maybe a way to connect that worker to new job sites, making a worker like dual-sided marketplace. That's really where we think that we can make the most impact, is actually connecting all the individuals on the job site, because for me, there's really a win-win-win scenario here, which is rare in any company, right? A worker can come to a job site, have a great job, be able to work safely, and at the end of the day, go home and see their family. The insurance companies can then pay less out in claims because there's less incidents on the job site, and the job site can be completed on time because now people aren't having incidents to slow down the job site, and the general contractor is not having to make adjustments for that particular case. So you potentially could have the win-win-win scenario in a safety tool, or in the tool that Odin has, and in the way that we're managing job sites. And it's how you'll see efficiency, I think, get gained on job sites is by understanding that risk and inherently solving it. I actually had known about the kind of previous iteration, I'd say, of Contech Alliance, which was SCS. I actually spoke at an event in 22 at SCS, and it was nothing like this. This event has been amazing. It was still really great, though. The impact was kind of similar, but at a smaller scale. It was a smaller event. We had probably about 50 people there. I spoke about construction risk, actually, on the other side of the house, instead of safety, kind of the risk side of it. And I met a lot of great people. Actually, one other company that came to tonight's, I'm on their advisory board for their startup, and I helped them like raise some of their seed funding as well. So it's a really great community, and I kept in touch with a lot of the key members that are on the board, and they've invited me to do other things. The other day I was speaking at Columbia for a construction course that they had because of Contech Alliance. They're doing exactly what they set out to do. They set out to take construction professionals, bring in startups and people that generally have hard times actually accessing them and trying to connect them in a way where people have like-minded ideas of we should probably implement more technology. They're doing a great job at that. I would love to win, obviously, but there was a lot of great companies out there, and some of them I would potentially go invest into as well. But I think rest of 25, I think for me, it's going to be really doubling down on that Odin Pulse I released in kind of the pitch there, where we have full transparency of any event that happens on a job site between all the different inputs. So you can look at historically for claims, for near misses, as well as also for incidents. That's going to be the next big hurdle that we're releasing in that front. Right now, we've been hitting data centers really hard. We have a lot of adoption in data centers. We're actually going to be raising our Series A pretty soon. Within the next 2 months, I'm actually kicking off that process to be able to support the volume we have. Because as our company's evolved, we've been like the leader in the largest projects in the country. Like we're doing a $10 billion data center in our quantum computing facility in Chicago. We're doing massive developments all around the country, and that's really been our sweet spot. So obviously we want to be able to put more boots on the ground, get the same level of customer success and experience you have in New York here and other key areas that we have already developed, but be able to do that for the rest of our customers is why we're going to go raise some more capital.